Welcome to our deep dive into the Stanford prison experiment, a psychological study that has become infamous for its shocking findings and ethical implications. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo and his team set up a mock prison in the basement of Stanford University's psychology building. They randomly assigned volunteer participants to play the roles of either prisoners or guards. The experiment aimed to investigate how these roles would influence the behavior of individuals. The prisoners were subjected to a simulated arrest, strip-searched, and given prison uniforms, while the guards were given uniforms, batons, and sunglasses to wear, creating a sense of authority and anonymity. With the stage set, the experiment was ready to begin, and no one could have predicted the psychological turmoil that was about to unfold. As we delve into the aftermath, we'll uncover the disturbing transformations that took place and the profound effects on those involved. Stay with us as we explore what happened during this infamous psychological experiment. As the experiment began, the prisoners were arrested by local police, complete with standard procedures such as handcuffing and Miranda rights. The reactions varied from bemusement to anxiety, but the reality of the situation started to set in. Once at the prison, they were stripped of their personal identities, issued uniforms and assigned numbers. Their lives as prisoners had officially begun. On the other side, the guards were given their uniforms, batons and sunglasses. Their authority was established, and they were instructed not to use physical violence, but were given liberty to make the prisoners feel bored and frustrated to maintain control. As the first day came to a close, the guards began to take on their roles with a disconcerting level of ease, enforcing arbitrary rules and punishing disobedience. The transformation was immediate and startling. The stage was set for a psychological experiment that would shock the world, bringing to light the terrifying depths of human nature when power dynamics are at play. As the experiment progressed, the guards began to exhibit authoritarian behavior far beyond their initial instructions. They started to impose harsher punishments, including solitary confinement and psychological manipulation. The prisoners, on the other hand, began to internalize their roles, showing signs of emotional distress and accepting the arbitrary rules without questioning. They displayed submissive behavior, reinforcing the guards' authority. The line between reality and role-play blurred. The guards grew more sadistic, and the prisoners became more docile, with some even siding with the guards against their fellow prisoners in a bid for better treatment. The psychological impact was apparent. Their identities were consumed by the roles they were playing, a chilling testament to the power of situational forces on human behavior. As the days passed, the experiment was spiraling out of control, with the guards becoming increasingly abusive, both mentally and physically. The prison was no longer a mock setup, but a horrifying reality. The experiment had taken on a life of its own, a monstrous reflection of the terrifying depths human nature could sink to when power dynamics are skewed. 6 days into the experiment, the reality of the situation hit hard. The psychological torment was unbearable. The prisoners were emotionally scarred, their spirits crushed by the relentless brutality of the guards. The guards themselves were unrecognizable, their humanity buried under the weight of their newfound authority. It was then that Christina Maslach, a fellow psychologist and Zimbardo's future wife, visited the prison. Horrified by what she saw, she raised ethical concerns about the experiment. This intervention served as a wake-up call for Zimbardo. He realized the extent of the damage his experiment was causing. The next day, the experiment was abruptly ended, 6 days into the intended 2-week duration. The immediate aftermath was a mix of relief and shock. The prisoners were freed from their horrifying ordeal, but the psychological scars remained. The guards were forced to confront the atrocities they had committed, their actions a stark reminder of the dark side of human nature. Some broke down, unable to reconcile their actions with their own identities. Others remained detached, insisting they were merely playing their roles. The Stanford prison experiment had ended, but its impact was just beginning. The chilling depths of psychological darkness it had revealed would continue to haunt the participants and the world of psychology for years to come. In the aftermath, the participants were debriefed and counseled. Some prisoners were profoundly affected, experiencing nightmares and anxiety. The guards, on the other hand, displayed a shocking lack of remorse, justifying their actions as part of their roles. Zimbardo himself acknowledged the ethical issues of the experiment, admitting his own absorption into the role of a prison superintendent. The Stanford prison experiment revealed the dark side of human nature, demonstrating how quickly individuals can conform to roles and engage in inhumane behavior. It underscored the influence of situational forces and institutional power over individual actions. However, it also drew severe criticism for its ethical breaches and methodological flaws. Closing shot. Despite its controversies, the Stanford prison experiment remains a powerful reminder of the potential harm of unchecked authority and the thin veneer of civilization that can be stripped away under certain conditions. It continues to ignite discussions on ethics, power dynamics, and the human capacity for cruelty, echoing its chilling findings in the corridors of psychology. End of video, fade out to black.